Viva Ighalo. Viva Ighalo. I tell you what, thank God we did that. Evening, everybody. Turk's here joining us. J Motty's going to be here with us very shortly. He's old and the internet's scary. But here's the good news. Odion Ighalo is staying at Manchester United. And we're going to get into, one, not just why that's a good thing, but why him being here tangibly improves Manchester United. We will be talking questions. We will be talking about the Sol tweet, all that sort of stuff. Before we get going, has anybody else's merch box arrived? Check it out. Look at my new kit mug. Might recognize it. I recognize this bald head, though. Oh. All right.
Sorry, I'm late. It's my lad's birthday tomorrow, and it's like I was rushing around and I got stuck in Asda. But I'm here now.
Are you well?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm not too bad. It's a bit warm. I mean, I like it warm, but it's too warm for me. It's all good.
I got to disagree with that because I like it warm.
Yeah.
And that's where I leave that phrase.
Right. Are you wearing a long sleeve top?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Not quite.
And a hat and a beard.
Yeah, I am wearing a beard, yeah. But it's cool.
Right?
I went and got absolutely fucking baked in there. And I mean by the heat, not the narcotics. In the garden earlier, it was top. It was mint. Like, there's no way. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. Was it that horse that the grass burnt my feet? Yeah. Was it arse though? No.
Is it cracking flags?
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what that means? You're as northern as I am. Cracking flags out there.
I've heard it. I can guess at what it means. I don't really know what it means. I've got a brew though, because it is Howson's brew.
I've got a Diet Coke because I'm roasting.
And Turk's on the old wiser. It is a celebratory day.
It's a good day.
United have extended the contract of some second-rate striker from China.
It means so much.
Yeah, I heard something about it. Of every single person I follow on social media. It
is mad, isn't it? How big it actually is, considering what it is actually like.
Fucking English.
I suppose Ighalo, he isn't sort of, you wouldn't think that there would be as much celebration as there has been signing, as you say, a second-rate striker from China, but what he offers and how important he's been in the short time he's been at the club, it feels like it's massive, and we'll have him for the start of next season as well, won't we?
I reckon it'll be here permanently now. I reckon they're going to have to fight double mega hard to get rid of him. Yeah, I think that this is extend him till January. If it carries on the same trajectory, he ain't going. Why would he go? Why would we want to get rid of him? And why would he want to go? If it goes up the same way the last 8 games have gone for another 40 games, he ain't going. He ain't going.
Just to play devil's advocate, are you a little bit worried that because it's till January that may stop us doing other business?
That's what I was thinking, because I would have thought...
Again, I don't want to piss on anyone's chips because we're all happy, but just to put it out there.
Well, no, you would have thought Solskjaer's sort of targeting long-term options there, and if Ighalo is going to be at the club for this summer and next January as well, and as Steve says, if he just stay permanently, will that sort of stop him going for that? Because by next January, you'd think Greenwood would have come on a bit as well. So
I don't think Greenwood's going to play that target man number 9, proper old school centre forward though. He's in the mould of what we've already got, which is one of the huge reasons why I wanted to see Ighalo kept around. And another reason, we're about to go from 0 to 100 mile an hour with all the players. Been a 250% increase in small injuries in Germany since the return of the Bundesliga. You're going to see very, very similar numbers in the Premier League, I imagine, as well, once it returns with loads of little injuries. Having someone around like Ighalo to take the pressure off for half an hour, or to even give someone a night off, is just something that we didn't have. That's the nightmare. Like that, we plain and simple didn't have that option, and it was just players were getting absolutely run into the ground. So even if All Ighalo came and did was to just give someone a night off. Job done. But he's done more than that. He's connected to the fans quicker than any fucking player I can ever remember. Outrageously. And he's actually been putting in some top performances as well. It's a fantastic signing. And I hope that they've gone, right, we get a loan agreed because it was a pressing thing and we might have lost him. We might not have been able to register him for Project Restart. But I hope that they spend the next couple of months trying to make it a permanent deal. Especially if he carries on the same rate.
I mean, let's not, beat around the bush. You're absolutely right. He's been nothing short of a revelation since he arrived, considering, I don't think I was alone in sort of questioning it on deadline day. 11th hour signing of a striker who, in his last season in the Premier League had 1 in 18. Coming from 2 seasons in China, it was like, it wasn't exactly you expected him to come in here and score goals and lift everyone. But as soon as he was a Manchester United player, he just did everything right on and off the pitch. Okay, in the Premier League, you think he's not done a lot, but then I was having a sort of chat with Joe, I think, on another channel the other day, and he pointed out, if you look at the derby, he came on, little cameo, and played his part. Helped us get that goal. And obviously in the Cups, we've seen what he's done. And as you rightly said, Steve, just having that body who can come into the games like LASK, the Europa League, the FA Cup, and give, Martial and Rashford when he's fit, a break. And then we can rotate and use Mason not as often as we would need to if Ighalo wasn't there. Because if Ighalo wasn't there, Mason's getting thrown in, week out. Now, we all love him, but I think he's been handled in the right way with Violet, and I want to see that continue. I don't want to see him sort of thrown into every single game because we've got injuries or whatever. So yeah, no, he's done what he says on the tin and more, to be fair to him, Ighalo, and it's just a question of whether he can keep that momentum going once this break ends and once the football starts coming thick and fast.
Ashley in the comments says, Romano says that he's got an option to sign permanently in Jan. He can be a stopgap until we can get Ireland in 2022, who we know that Ollie wants. Add Bellingham, Saul and Sancho this summer. I don't think you're seeing all of those. Bellingham sounds like he's going Dortmund especially as well. Again, maybe our interest in Bellingham was tactical. Maybe it was we put some interest in him and Bellingham. Dortmund are like, fuck's sake. But then you go, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we take Sancho off your hands? We give you a free run at Bellingham. Sometimes you have to do tactical shit like that to be able to get what you're trying to go for. So I might have just fucking invented that. That might be something that someone's thought of. That might be something that they're doing. I don't know. I'm just saying that's something that could feasibly be what we're doing there, because I know that we sort of did that allegedly with Tielemans. We let them have a free run at it to let us have Maguire. So why wouldn't we use that tactic again? The sole thing about what's going on his Instagram and all that lot, new club in 3 days, I swear to God, there's no fucking way that means United.
No.
But I still took my pants off.
No.
Oh, no.
That would be the biggest shock since we signed Cantona if he turns around and goes,
yeah,
what is United?
What is it with Atletico players doing stuff like this? Because didn't Griezmann do something like that as well with his fucking documentary?
Oh.
It's bizarre.
I told you that I know Rojo's agent, right? Rojo was trying to get a documentary on Netflix about Rojo.
Was he? Oh. When?
What? Say that again. Out loud again.
Rojo was trying to get a Netflix documentary about himself. All right, Griezmann went for, what did he go for? Like 125 million to Barcelona. This is a guy that's won the World Cup, right? For starters. And he's also been a fairly successful player at club level, especially for considering he wasn't at a fancied club. Was trying to get a Netflix documentary about himself. Of
all the mad things that Rojo's done,
it's up there, isn't it?
That's up there.
Proper up there. That.
It would be, to be fair, I'd watch it.
I'd watch it for sure.
His agent's hilarious.
Doing whatever he does.
Because there'll be an episode on him doing toast.
My favorite story, I think it might be you that told me this day, was when we signed him. And someone we'd signed him. It was a done deal and everything. He'd signed. He was our player, and someone in the office at United or whatever just Googled him and realised that he was due in court for allegedly threatening to kill his neighbour or something.
Yeah, I think it was threatening, but he could have gone to jail.
Yeah, he was
like, there was like an actual like fat percentage chance that he might go to jail with this, and we're like, we just paid what is it, 12 million or something for him. Anyway, that guy got a new pool, and that went away. Maybe.
To be fair, I'll miss him when he's gone. To be fair,
to tell you about the time that he blocked me in at the Trafford Centre.
No,
we went to watch Cirque du Soleil because I'm cultured as fuck like that, and there was actually a lot of like Rooney was there. There was a right random array of people that were there, and as we're leaving, I was like, "Oh, there's Rojo," just like double casual. Not going to say hello because he's just fucking lunatic and I'm not sure he speaks English. So, walking towards my car. Oh, fuck's sake, look at this here. Someone had parked like this close to the driver's side. Just so you can't even walk in between, let alone open the fucking door. Big blue Range Rover. And then as I'm standing there going, fucking hell, look at this. Rojo jumped in it. I'm just sitting there going, of course.
Do you know what? It's funny that because I was at this sort of similar thing, and it ties in with these nutters we've got in our defence. I was coming out of Old Trafford once, and there's like, the roundabout, so like towards Trafford Parkway, like as though you're going, say you're driving from the ground towards the Trafford Centre, where all the traffic is built up. There's like a big grass roundabout there, as though you're going towards near Kellogg's. Yeah, just near there. I forget the name of the roundabout. I should know it. I've been over it a million times. Anyway, everyone's obviously, there's traffic's gridlock. You can't move. And all of a sudden, this Range Rover just sort of squeezes in between two cars, drives over the grass roundabout. And as it drives past, as it sort of drives over it, I look up and just see Eric Bailly.
Of course.
And you're not even mad, are you? You just go, that's exactly what I thought, actually.
Yeah, makes sense.
What was he driving? Was he driving?
No, to be fair, I think it was his mate or it's one of his family or someone was driving. He was just in it, but it just made sense that that's how he gets about. Spanish traffic. I'm going over this roundabout.
Yeah, Joe problem about Rojo. Again, I know his agent. He's still his agent actually. And he goes, we were trying to get him to come and do something with us, and maybe I'm giving some secrets away here, but he goes, we won't get permission if we ask the club, but sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness and permission, isn't it? He goes, so what we'll do is we'll just run into you in town and say that you asked him for an interview and we just did it. And then
love it.
So that's what the plan was. We was going to do that. So I was asking for him, and he was like, it was around Christmas time, and he's like, oh, have you given him a nudge yet? And he was like, I'm not talking to him. And I was like, you're not talking to him? Like, is he your boss? And he was like, he goes, every time I ring him, he's like, get me a move to Real Madrid. And he's like, he goes, so I'm just avoiding him until the window closes. Like, wow.
Imagine that. Just who was it? Was it Falbert who went from West Ham to Real Madrid and back again? Do you remember? I'm sure it was Julian Falbert who was at West Ham. I'm sure he was at West Ham. Yeah, he was at West Ham, and he wasn't like tearing up trees. And all of a sudden, he got a move to Real Madrid. It was one of those ones, like just a shock, like.
But they've done some right shit sometimes, don't they? Like
yeah, and like Chicharito, to be fair, when we loaned him in, was very good. So that's not really there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, they've had some ones where you like, really, okay. But yeah, getting Rojo there would have been a bit of an ask. Going from United's fifth choice defender to Real Madrid.
The thing is, he's not a shit centre half. No. He's a reckless centre half. Yeah. But I mean, I don't have an issue with that.
Like, known ban left back as well. He can do a job.
No, you're right. I mean, the thing with Rojo, he's a bit like Ighalo in the sense that, if it's the Europa League, you love to see it. You love to see him in the team. He's entertaining. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He gets the crowd going. He's you're like, yeah. But when it's like a must-win Premier League game,
life,
and he's flying into 240 challenges in like the first minute in the middle of the pitch, and you're like, I don't know about this. File under cult hero.
2-footing someone over the ball as well.
Yeah.
You go, with VAR nowadays, there was probably a decision someone made when with VAR.
Yeah. He's completely useless to us now with VAR. We
Yeah,
can't.
because someone's gonna just like, let's watch that back. Let's have a look. Yeah, get off. You know. Joe says, "What's some of your favourite mad football stories?" Ali Dia signing for Southampton is just tremendous. It is just tremendous. One, because it's Graham Souness, and everything he says, you've got to frame it in the fact that here's what doesn't make sense. He signed Ali Dia. He didn't have to play Ali Dia. Just because you sign someone doesn't mean you have to play them. Like, he phones him up and goes, "Hiya, I'm George Weah's cousin." Or did he phone up pretending to be George Weah and say, "I've got my cousin.
Yeah,
I'll send him down."
That was it, yeah.
And then Ali Dia turns up and he's just shite. It's just, I mean, I don't even know if he's conference level. So rather than just, okay, I get if you get a phone call like that, a recommendation off George Weah, you might listen to it. I get it. You invite him for a trial, surely.
No, he did. He had a trial. Have you seen the Matt Letizia interview on it?
No.
He had a trial, and Matt Letizia says he came out of a trial. He wasn't very good. He did a trial and training and everything. And then Matt Letizia said he was shocked when the Saturday came and he was in the squad. Now, Graham Souness's argument was, like you just said, I was short of players, desperately short, so stuck him in the squad. Right, fine, okay, you're desperately short of players. I'm just going to use this duck egg to fill the bench. But don't bring him on. Don't use him.
Bringing him on the bench, you had no academy players.
Well, yeah, I suppose. It doesn't make much sense. It's like, it's up there with Guardiola not being able to fill his bench or whatever. Yeah, none of it makes any sense. And like you say, it's just great to see, to see it because it's Graham Souness. So.
I mean, yeah, he wasn't good in the trial and he wasn't good in training. And you put him on the bench and then you brought him on in an actual football match. It's a league game as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came on. I think Letizia was the only attacker he had and he got injured. So they had no attackers. So other than this Ali Dia character, who was allegedly an attacker. So I think he brought him on and then ended up taking him off again for a midfielder.
Wow. It's literally like one of us getting a run out at Old Trafford, isn't it? And within 5 minutes, someone going, "Oh, for fuck's sake, get him off."
It's make a wish, isn't it? It's like, right, you've had your run about. You've played for United now. Come off.
For anyone born in the 2000s who's thinking we're just chatting shit and making this up, you can Google it. Ali Dia, D-I-A, Graham Souness. It happened.
No internet. There was no Google. So, nowadays, if someone said the George Weah's cousin, you'd Google it and say, well, no, you fucking not.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm talking about people that think that we're lying.
No, that's what I mean. No, people as well might be thinking, why didn't they just check it out? Wasn't that easy back in the day. You had to make lots of phone calls.
Mate, in the 90s, you got a phone call off George Weah, even though it's a number you've never heard of and you don't personally know George Weah. Why would he lie? You know what I mean? You just be like, well, that's legit. Fuck me. How did they get him registered?
Do you know what? Right, back in the day,
so many questions.
It was mad that era, though. Those managers like Graham Souness and managers who were struggling against relegation. Some of the things he did and players they got. Do you know what I mean? I remember watching. There used to be a documentary on Sunderland, not Sunderland Till I Die. There was one years ago, about 20 years ago, and Peter Reid was manager. And
he broke the fuck meter, didn't he?
Yeah, every other word was fuck, and what made weak as piss. What made me laugh? He literally had a Rothman's yearbook. Him and his assistant going down it, going, right, have you heard of him? No. What's his goal? How many goals last season? 5. Right. Let's see if we can get hold of him. It was just like madness. Do you know what I mean? Let's flip a coin and see which player we can get. Honestly, you look at it now, everything that goes into a signing, it's fucking unreal. But back in the day, you had these old school managers who were just fucking, what's that? George Weah's cousin. Yeah. Get him in, get him down here.
Yeah, and it wasn't seen as now it is. You're right. It's outrageous. But back in the day, I don't think it caused that much of a stink at the time, which is nuts.
What did he do after that? Did he just go to non-league or something?
Yeah, you're right, Steve. He was non-league. He was is it Ryman's or Rothman's Premier?
Yeah, but I bet half of that he got on the back of playing once for Southampton.
Yeah. Mental.
Right, I'm going on his Wikipedia. He's only 5 years younger than me dad him. Right, Ali Dia, known as Ali Dia, is a Senegalese former professional footballer who played as a striker. In November 1996, Deere convinced Graham Souness, then Southampton manager, that he was cousin of FIFA World Player of the Year and Ballon d'Or winner George Weah, which led to him signing a 1-month contract. He played one match, came on as a substitute in a league game, but was then himself substituted and was subsequently released 14 days in his contract. Now, I think he wins there.
Of course he wins.
He wins. So then he went on to play for... He played 8 times for Gateshead. And then Spennymoor United, and then called it a day.
The mighty Spennymoor.
Yeah.
What I love about that is, George Weah's Liberian, isn't he?
Yep.
So he's not even from the same fucking country. He's Senegalese. He's African. Yeah.
You know Africa, right?
Yeah, I'm from there.
Same. Oh my fucking God. Right. After a career playing at the lower levels in France and Germany, after already failing trials at Gillingham and Bournemouth at the time would have been like Division 4 as well. He joined non-league club Blyth Spartans, where he only made 1 substitute appearance on the 9th of November 96. Days later, the ball's on the guy. He was signed by Southampton manager Graham Souness. Right. Blyth Spartans didn't like him. And Graham Souness was like, that's the fella for me. What the fuck? Oh, he said he played for Paris Saint-Germain and played 13 times for his country, and they didn't even think to check. None of it was true, and the phone call to Souness was made by a fellow student of Deers, university student of Deers, suggesting he should give him a chance with Southampton. Souness was convinced, and he signed a 1-month. He signed a 1-month contract off a phone call recommendation. That was a lie.
I mean, what I don't get is the fact that he had a trial, right? He was obviously nowhere near Premier League standard. He had a trial, because I've seen an interview with Matt Letizier, he talked about this, and so Matt Letizier said it wasn't very good. You must have watched him and thought, this guy's shocking. So why put him in your squad? Why, like you say, there must have been youngsters or something. Or just the fucking kit, man. Put someone in there. But obviously, this guy's just not... Blyth Spartans looked at him and said, nah, not for us. So God knows what he was like in a Premier League standard trial against Premier League players. It just doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean?
His legacy, apparently, is that he is the number 1 in a list of the 50 worst football transfers ever. and at number 4 in the top 50 worst strikers ever. Might have to click on that and see who the fuck came above him. This is going to be interesting. Apparently, his son's a professional footballer now who plays in Thailand.
Is it really? Is it really his son? Or is it some guy going, Ali D is my dad? Give us a game. George Weah's my uncle.
Oh, my God. Why are we not talking about the fact that United can lose Matic and Pogba next summer? I think Pogba will either be sold or sign a new deal. That's probably why.
Yeah, surely.
It just never ends, does it? With Pogba, you don't know, do you? You know, just when you think it's going one way, goes the other.
Duo says Souness probably liked him because he had a standard haircut. He had a bald head, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my days.
Souness was something like you said, Africa. Oh, I saw an African player once. He was good. Yeah. They all must be good.
Do you reckon Souness uses him as his the I'm not racist things? Like, I can't be racist. Sounds some random dickhead from Africa once. People were like, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. You can't call the guy that gave Ali Dia a chance racist.
You're not, yeah, exactly. If I was racist, would I have signed him?
That's his get out of jail.
Check fucking mate, I guess.
That's got to be the best ever. That's that is. If you, it's like, did you hear why Wenger signed Stepanovs?
Yeah, that's on the Magic Sponge podcast, isn't it? Have you heard it?
Yeah, was it they're all winding? Was it Keown up or someone, weren't they?
Wenger.
Oh no, like they were winding
Keown,
like saying every time Stepanov touched the ball how amazing he was, and it got in fucking Wenger's head and he bought him.
Yeah, Turk, have you listened to the Magic Spawn podcast?
I've not. No, I've seen an interview with someone, but sorry.
Right. It's Jimmy Bullard's podcast that he did. He does it on and off, and occasionally he'll just randomly get a new episode of it. It's amazing. It's what a football podcast should be, where people are telling you the actual behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on. Merson's on it is amazing. Barry Fry on it, talking about George Best, is amazing. Barry Fry talking about all the bungs and stuff like that on there as well. Amazing. In fact, I need to get Barry Fry on here because it was so good. And especially, he lived with George Best as well, as he was both coming through United's academy. So it's a really interesting one. But there's the story of the Stepanov signing. I think he was on tour in like Germany or somewhere hot like that, and he was doing a camp. And they played against a local team or something along those lines, or he was on a trial, and they were all sat on the bench. And yeah, you're right. There was either winding up Keown or Winterburn, was it? It was.
I thought it was Keown. I might be wrong. I thought it was one of the centre backs.
I think you might be right. I think it was him. And he goes. They said every time he touched the ball, he was like, "Oh, he's fucking class him," just winding Keown up. But Wenger was stood in front of him. And he said he kept turning around and looking at us like, are you lot taking a piss? And he said everything he did, they just cheered. And then he fucking signed him.
How long ago was this?
2003, 4?
Oh, really?
Fucking hell.
I reckon it's a bit early, I reckon it's late 90s. I might be wrong, actually. I thought, was he not in the 6-1 Stepanovs? Or was that Sigan? I always get them two mixed up. When we battered Arsenal at Old Trafford?
He only played 17 times. 2000 he signed for him.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
He was playing for Riga. He signed him for 1 million in 2000. That was never going to go down well, was it? Fucking hell.
Signed some right duffers, didn't he, Wenger? Fucking hell.
Did he?
Yeah.
Like, some of the, you think about, like, the 8-2, the 6-1. The cup games we played him in as well. Some of their next level players, like our next level would be like Mikel Silvestre and Phil Neville and Johnny Evans. Their next level would be like Pascal Sigan, Stepanovs, that Johan Giroud. Just fucking garbage. Like
it was in the 6-1. You're right, because it was Dwight York just fucking mullered him. Didn't he?
Was that him? I couldn't remember. It was him and Sigan. I was getting mixed up. I never forget. I watched the highlights, and I think it was. I can't remember who it was on that he was commentating, but he said that's the worst performance by a professional footballer I've ever seen. In
the year 2000! How was this shit happening in the year 2000? Did people just think maybe they're just shit in training but really good on the pitch?
Now he's crapping his game, but if I put him up against Dwight York, he'll be really good.
Yeah, United are only the treble champions. I'm sure this should be a nothing fucking thing for him. Fucking hell.
Honestly, I miss those days.
Oh, we used to win 6-1.
Yeah, we used to win 6-1 at standard. Do you know what I mean?
You don't really see signings like that now, do you? Really? Like there is some proper dog ones, but not
not United.
Not that. I can't think of the last one United had, really.
Well, I mean, I don't even think it really counts. But when Vardy came from Fleetwood from Stocksbridge via Fleetwood, that was probably a bit out there, wasn't it? But it depends on how much you've paid for him, and two, it depends on what your expectation is. If you give him the number 4, have I frozen? I'm still here.
No, you're right.
It did freeze. I mean, Bebe, yeah, you're right, Bebe.
Bebe.
Bebe's. I'm gonna throw in so many allegedlys in here right now. Is that it's just there's more to that Bebe transfer than meets the eye, and I'll just move that fucker right on down the road.
There's one, Steve. When me and you did our worst player, your choice was the way that came about was fucked up. Can you remember who you chose? I forget. Is it Sidibe or Siddiqui? The lad who was on Phil Neville's program, the Class of 90. Yeah, that's it. And Phil Neville watched him in Soccer Dome and went,
yeah. And guess what?
Was he the young fullback?
I watched him every week. Fucking not having him.
And I didn't think he ever played for United or fucking near United's team, but he got a 2-year deal.
No, he did not. He was there about 4 or 5 years.
Stop it. Really?
No, because he was one point, he was his contract's running out. And you're like, they're definitely getting rid of him. He's fucking shite. They've done what now? I'm going to have a look. Yeah, El Vittori. He fucked off to Chesterfield and didn't turn up for him. And then he went and played in the Libyan Premier League. which I have no idea what that is. Yeah. Oh no, it says here 2 years. I'm not having that. It was 2 years.
No, even that's 2 years too long. I mean, listen, you say like. I mean, you've discussed this about, I don't even see Red Fever pitch, but it talks about Gus Caesar. Basically, long story short, if you play for United or have a trial at United, you are shit hot at football. Yeah? You are like, if we were playing five-a-side with you, we'd all be in awe of you. Doesn't matter if you're not good enough for United. You're still amazing at football, but I don't think he is. I think if he was playing five-a-side with you, you probably wouldn't pass to him. Do you know what I mean? He was like, okay.
Abdul knew him, and Abdul said he was actually, Paddock FC's got a couple of players that are five-a-side players. Players that are going to skill you out, do this, that, and the other, but they're not 11-a-side footballers. It literally is a different game. You shouldn't really even call it the same thing. Like, five-a-side to 11-a-side, it's just a different beast altogether. It's not even close to being the same thing. Well, El Fattori supposedly was unreal, but because he's come with this sort of street player mentality, to be in United's academy, you've got to have the fundamentals. You've got to have this, the work ethic. Do you work off the ball? Do you, are you making the right moves? Are you taking up the right positions? All that sort of stuff. And he wasn't. And not only was he not doing that, but they also took out of him what made him probably good at five-a-side, which was the risk. He stopped playing with risk, probably because he was getting a million different instructions, and he was just shit. There's no other way around it. Like, I was watching it as a fan and just going, that's the worst player I've ever seen in a United shirt by a margin. It wasn't like, oh, he's having a bad game today, but I can see something in him. You go, he is objectively shit. Like, what is he doing here? I don't know what Phil Neville's seen in him, where he was like, he would make a Manchester United footballer.
I genuinely think, right, the cameras are rolling, they're at the soccer dome, they're making his documentary, and Phil Neville wants to look like he's unearthed a gem. So he sees some kid do something a bit good and goes, do you know what? He's got something about him. He could make it United. And everyone's like, oh, well, Phil, no, Phil spotted someone there. And it goes in the program, and everyone's like, oh, right, yeah, nice one. At the end of the I remember the end of the program with he had a trial at United and got in the team, and they signed a deal. So you think,
you mean right. Phil's mate Nicky Butt signed him? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, exactly. Where if you actually do scratch below the surface, you'll see that, as you just pointed out, he was garbage and never got anywhere near the team.
Was he worse than Pereira? Pereira in the under-21s, you look like he was going to be 70 games for Brazil sort of player. That's like,
he's got a cap, hasn't he? He's got a cap for Brazil, hasn't he? Pereira.
I think he does, yeah.
I mean, even like I say, Pereira, we might slay him and say he's not going to. He's still an amazing footballer in terms of the pecking order.
If Pereira, let's do it footy manager style. Pereira's probably what, a 130, 140 out of 200.
Yeah.
El Torre's a 20 at best. Not even kidding. Like it's almost like what are you doing, lad? Why nobody honestly I kept my powder dry on it so long, but I was like, this is objectively the worst footballer I've ever seen in a United shirt.
It's not fair on him. Do you know what I mean? It's not his fault. He's not good enough. None of us are good enough to play for United, but we don't get fucking put in that situation. It's it's just nonsense that he was ever thrown in there.
Certainly don't blame him for taking the opportunity, because I'm sure after 2 years of training with Manchester United, you probably actually get a half decent touch or shot out of me. I'm sure, but you're not going to be playing for United. Like he wasn't even fucking good enough to play for Chesterfield in the end. And I don't even know what he's doing now.
I think cost cutter or something. He's working in Tesco's.
He's in Libya.
Oh, is it all right? Fair enough.
So, there's fucking hell. You know what I mean? I don't know where this is all going to stack up, at all, in terms of the abilities of different players. But El Fattori, worst player I ever saw in a United shirt. But it wasn't just they played him every week. It was fucking ridiculous.
The same with that Ola Sunday as well, when he played quite a bit, and he was.
Oh, all of a sudden it was a nightmare because I made the decision, didn't I, that I wasn't going to hammer young players, academy players, until they made their first team debut. I was just going to be quite positive about them because I didn't think it was fair to be critical about players that are literally learning the game still, and sometimes they get played out of position and they get put in situations to test them. So I didn't think it was fair to, if someone was having a bad time, to hammer them. So I made the decision that I would just ignore anything rather than get into it. But Olasunde was only one step above AlphaTauri. And the nightmare is, remember Chris that used to run Devils?
Yeah.
He went and filmed for, I think it was for Oldham, when Oldham played United in a pre-season friendly. And AlphaTauri does Olasunde does a Cruyff turn and then does like a fucking Rabona fucking cross into the box. And Chris goes, it's the best skill I've ever fucking seen a footballer do in my life in the flesh. And I've got it on video from 8 feet away. And I was like, please delete that footage. Because I know as soon as I just start hammering him, people will be like, yeah, what about that though? But he was fucking shite as well.
I vaguely remember. I mean, I do feel for these youngsters as well because you're under the spotlight more now with social media, with people filming stuff than you ever were. You know, years ago, unless you went and there was a small number of us that used to go and watch the academy, or whatever. You didn't really know a lot about him other than word of mouth. Do you know what I mean? Now there's footage, there's socials, everything. So, you know, you are almost famous, really. When back in the day, a lot of match going fans might not have known about all the youngsters and how good they were, where now they do. And there's like video footage of it and everything. So you are under a big spotlight when you're still a kid at the biggest club in the world. But that doesn't mean that, you know, you can't be objective and say someone is just fucking crap. And those players were terrible.
Yeah, they were shit. I don't know what Olasunde's up to now. Don't know if he went back to America.
I think he got a cap for the US, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, he played internationally, I think.
Go on.
See, that's the nightmare because you get loads of obviously our American viewers all excited. We've got a fucking American playing for United. How good is it? And you're like, anyway, what other question? But he's left out. So yeah, he's fucking shit. That's how it is, yeah.
I think he plays for Rotherham now, actually.
Does he? That's
Yeah.
all right, though. To be fair, he's got like a professional career out of it. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
I'll see, though. Let's have a look.
Because, you know, he's not done an alley, do you?
What league are they in? Are they in League? Oh shit, they're in League One. I don't think they're that high up actually.
Yeah, they were in the Championship last year.
That's mental.
Mate, he's only 22.
He's played 32 games for him.
So he's doing all right. He's doing bits. And you're right, he's got a cap as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give it.
Yeah, made his debut against Bolivia.
Give it about 10 years and he'll be on MUTV co-commentating.
Oh, he's more qualified than 100 of them.
They'll have him in the studio as a legend, giving his opinion.
What's the single greatest game performance I've seen from a United player? De Gea versus Arsenal, York versus Arsenal, Keane versus Juventus. Although, did you see him, that Michael Cox?
Yeah, don't get me started. Do you want to go down this? Do you want to do this?
I'm going to open that fucking can of worms, yeah. Here's what I will say from after glancing over the utter fucking wibble that I saw in that article. It was like he didn't watch the game, didn't understand the significance of the game, didn't understand who Roy Keane was, who Manchester United were, who Juventus was, or what football is. He
basically, that article was factually incorrect anyway. I think it said we went into that game 2 points behind Arsenal, or ahead of Arsenal, sorry, and 2 points ahead of Chelsea, and we didn't. I checked that because I was sure that wasn't right. It wasn't. He also dismissed a lot of what Keane did. He got it completely wrong about Davids and Zidane running the midfield, and Butts rolling, stopping him. It was nonsense. It's pandering to the crowd. He's never like Keane. He don't like him as a pundit. He's tweeted a few times about him, and he's obviously tried to rewrite history. And there's enough, you know, anti-United people out there, and even people that don't remember Roy Keane who are United fans, who'll buy into it or, you know, believe it. And I think part of the problem is as well, he said he watched the full game. I don't believe he did. But if you watch the highlights, you're still seeing that Keane had a stormer. Yeah, that's a given. If you watch the full game, you'll see there's a lot more to it than just the sort of, you know, grabbing hold of the ball and bombing forward and all that. He actually stifles Zidane. He bullies Davids. He does everything right. He picks up the ball defense and turns it into attack. He does kick on after he's got his bucket as well.
He's physical. He stops counter-attacks. Yeah. He's outnumbered in midfield because of the formation that they play, and it doesn't look... That was the good thing about him and Scholes, which Scholes couldn't do as he got older, and obviously Keane couldn't even do as he got older. But there was that 3 or 4 year period, like 97 to 2001, where them two were a match for a midfield three that they played against, which is fucking nuts. because there was loads of teams had gone to 4-5-1 then, 4-3-3, and the earlier 2000s have started to emerge, and United stuck quite rigidly to 4-4-2 until Fergie bottled it and decided to go with 4-5-1. But Keane and Scholes kept up with three-man midfields and didn't look overawed, which allowed United to have extra manpower in attack, which was what was the beautiful thing about it. But he was playing balls into the final third, great balls as well, which created dangerous chances. He tackled everything that fucking moved. David's fucking Conte, Delivio, fucking Zidane.
There's Champs as well was there, and they changed their shape because of Keane. I think they changed to like a diamond, didn't they? Because they just weren't getting any joy. And there's a point where I think it was in the second half. Keane goes through Davids, wins the ball. It goes forward. Then he goes through Des Champs and wins it. And then I think Des Champs or Davids or someone takes him out and he gets a free kick. And you just think the guy's a machine. This is just like a superhuman performance. Now, just to go on that article, just touch on it quickly. There was some good points he makes. I'll be honest. The point about Beckham's performance being underrated, I'll give him, because I think Beckham against Juventus that night was phenomenal as well.
I think Beckham that entire season was the best player.
Yeah, and I'll give you that. I'll give him that. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you there. But I think in the context of the game, that midfield, what needed to be done, and let's not forget Scholes on the bench. He didn't come on until with 20 minutes to go. Keno ran it. He did. And it's like, he ran it all game. He got us the goal. And also when he got booked, he carried on running it, knowing full well he wasn't going to be in the final. You can't dispute that is an absolutely fantastic performance.
And he tries to say people overplay the emotion of the night. The emotion of the night is a tangible impact on the night. Paul Scholes, like you said, came on, got booked. Ed went.
Yeah.
Was anonymous. One of the worst performances I've ever seen from Paul Scholes, who I adore.
Yeah.
But Roy Keane got booked and went, okay.
Shouted at Blomqvist, which I love. Shouted it because he went in his He got him. The best one was when, do you remember when he went for, I can't remember what it was. Keane actually gets played through by Beckham. He just about gets to it, but the keeper makes him go wide and he can't. So he just kicks it against the advertising hoardings and then turns to Dwight York in the middle and shouts at him.
Standards. Got to maintain standards, Jay.
Yeah. It's got absolutely nothing to do with Dwight. He's like shouting at him going, and it's just like, but that's the thing as well. That matters. That is raising everyone's standards above you. We've seen it to a much lesser extent, so don't say I'm comparing the two. But when Bruno's come into the team, he's lifted everyone. He's expected that. And with Keane, that's what you had week in, week out. You're giving an 8 out of 10 performance. Don't think he's leaving you alone. He wants a 9 out of 10. He wants a 10 out of 10. He'll be on your case. And that's what he was like. He was like Sir Alex Ferguson on the pitch. And that's why.
Angrier.
Yeah, but angrier. And that's why we had such phenomenal success when Keane was playing and when he was fit. We practically won the title every season he was fit. That's just ridiculous.
Well, that's just factual.
It's factual, yeah. And, it's the complete opposite of Steven Gerrard.
And that's also factual.
Yeah, nothing but facts.
Nothing but facts. Yeah, he's absolutely right. David Beckham gets labelled as just being famous. Forgetting that you don't get that level of fame unless you're pretty good at football. And he was more than pretty good at football. He was actually sensational at football. And that was what got him the celebrity that he ended up getting. And in '99 in particular, again, you can't remove the emotion from it. David Beckham had effigies of David Beckham wearing a sarong and an England shirt being hung from pubs. The Sun had a dartboard with his face in the centre of it on the front page of the newspaper, encouraging people to throw fucking darts at him. There was booze at every ground. And can we throw this in the fucking mixer as well? David Beckham went off at 2-2. The game finished 2-2. How did David Beckham lose us anything? No one wants to look at David Batty and Paul Ince.
Mate, don't. It wasn't a red card.
I'm not over it, Jay. I'm not over it.
It wasn't a red. Yeah. That's not a red card. He flicked a leg out. It's not a red card. It's a yellow all day long. That is a textbook definition of a yellow card.
Yeah.
And no one was willing to say that. No one was willing to go, Simeone conned the ref. The ref wasn't good enough. And then we, missed stupid penalties and had David Batty having penalty practice in the World Cup second round. Yep. No one wanted to say that. They all wanted to go, he plays for United. We hate United. He wears a sarong. He's good looking. Yeah. He's married to a pop star. Let's bash him.
Yeah. So he comes into the season. Did we play West Ham first game of the season?
I think, yeah. West Ham away when it was, I think it might, no, that was the second game. Leicester at home was the first game. Our first away, I think, was West Ham, if memory serves.
And like the entire stadium for months, wasn't it? And this was tabloid driven. I don't think people would have got that asked. I personally don't think, until the tabloids really made it a thing, and then it was everywhere he went. And then as he started, he scored against Leicester, I think, or he had an assist against Leicester, and then he just fucking went very much.
Like scored a free kick, did he, against Leicester? You're right, mate.
Very much like Ronaldo following 2006, where he had his breakout season in 2007, where the entire fucking world is against him, and it just goes fucking boom, boom, boom.
You know what? There was no one better than that. And managers have tried to do it since Jose tried to do it. It didn't really work. Of that siege mentality, of making it a proper siege mentality on and off the pitch. Because you were there, Steve. I don't know how old you are, mate, whether you remember it, but as a United fan, I've never felt more like us against the world in my life than I did in that 98-99 season. And I'm more protective as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, these are our players and we will back them and we will get behind them and we'll, fuck everyone else sort of thing. And Fergie was a genius at that and it worked.
I wonder if Andy Mitten has got all of the United We stands. I imagine he probably has an archive of them somewhere, doesn't he? Do you know what? I'd actually love to talk to him about some of them. And I would love to read again the September or August edition, 1998, because there was a brilliant. I think it normally does like a single page editorial. This might have been like a 3-page editorial. I seem to remember, basically saying, "Nah, fuck everyone. He's one of us." Words to that effect, and I think he really rallied around Beckham and United. I think United was doing it anyway, and I think he just reflected the opinion that was out there rather than driving it. But I think his editorial reflected what was being said in and around the stadiums. And when we went into Old Trafford that year, there was 100% support of Beckham, and he repaid that same way Ronaldo did, with just unbelievable performances. There's a comment there that says, for newer fans, why did Beckham leave? Because Fergie believed that there was a circus around him because of the celebrity, which honestly, there's not even a circus now. There's more circus around Scott McTominay now than there was about Beckham.
I think the Beckham one is up there with Stam going in terms of how it affected that team. I think, you look at Beckham went in 2003. We didn't win a title against 2007. It cost us. He was that good. And people get distracted and think, well, celebrity and ruin and this, that, and the other. He was just phenomenal. And he was. And you don't replace him. And Ronaldo didn't replace him for 3 years. It took Ronaldo 3 years to get going. So, you let him go. And it still bugs me, the 23 million quid, whatever it was, because it was just ridiculously cheap for a player like that. Forget all the stuff that, his commercial value, which was easily double that immediately, the amount of shirt sales and all the rest of it. He was valued as a player as much more than that, and we just let him go.
2 years before. Hang on, I'm going to have to tear this fucking bullshit comment to pieces.
I've just seen that. I just saw it.
Beckham went for 25 million when Zidane went for 50 3 years before. Right, let's get into this bullshit. Beckham was only good at set pieces and crossing. He was average at dribbling and average at best. Okay. Oh, yeah, at pace. Right. For someone that was only average and only had a crossing ability, to be able to put in, was he the only player to do like 4 or 5 consecutive seasons with X number of assists? His free kicks were ridiculous. David Beckham's work rate alone is totally not understood. Gary Neville has got a career at United because of David Beckham. They was a duo down that right-hand side. They complemented each other well. Gary Neville fucking bombing into the mixer and hitting the overlap, took someone away from Beckham. Beckham put in a fucking laser-guided cross right onto Dwight York's head. It was fucking sensational. I mean, I can't... If you hold the opinion that David Beckham was an average footballer, check out cricket, boxing, hockey, some other sport, because football is not for you. He was phenomenal.
Do you remember? Do you know a good example? You mentioned Juventus away. That's a good example.
And that
Spurs at home, last game of the season.
Yep. Oh, that goal, mate.
You want to see a player refuse to let United lose the title. Watch that performance and watch that game and watch what David Beckham does. Not just his goal. He's just not fucking having it. Tottenham go ahead and he's like, nah, mate, not having this one.
Yep.
And he absolutely smashes it. It's just ridiculous. That's nothing but facts in that comment you put up there. Couldn't agree more. He was underrated. People don't get how good he was. And this idea, he was just good at set pieces. And that's like saying Rude was just good at headers. Talking rubbish.
You got to remember as well, 1999, the moments of 1999. Name me something that happened in 99. Name me a game.
Arsenal semi-final.
Arsenal semi-final. Ryan Giggs scores possibly the greatest FA Cup goal ever, which means that people forget about the world-class 30-yard screamer that Beckham had in the first half. Give me another.
The final, Bayern Munich.
The final, so it's remembered for Solskjaer and Sheringham putting the ball in the back of the net. It's not remembered for David Beckham actually having a pretty decent performance playing at centre mid because Keenan Scholes was out, and also putting both of the crosses in for the goals. Give me another one.
The Scousers at the FA Cup.
It was his cross. Give me another one.
I'm trying to think now. Oh God, I can't even remember, mate. Yeah. Inter Milan in the quarters.
All right, yeah. So, but 2 assists for some of the most ridiculous, laser-guided, pinpoint fucking crossing I've ever fucking seen in my life. 2 goals, 2 assists to David Beckham. Quarterfinal of the fucking Champions League. Give me another one. I'll go if you like. Roy Keane's header that you all fucking know and love. David Beckham whipped it in. As Michael Cox says, underrated performance. Barcelona, he scores a free kick, and he's also involved in all of the link-up play that you remember Dwight York and Andy Cole doing. League games, Tottenham scores the equaliser, I think it is, which is one of the most outrageous physics-defying fucking goals you've ever seen in your life. Puts it so far in the joint, I think like it broke space. Like David Beckham's story of that season is the story of Manchester United's season. The greater the player, the greater they step up on the bigger the stage, the bigger the player. Bigger consistency. He did it in every semi-final of the FA Cup, the quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals of the Champions League. He was there consistently throughout the season in the league. But Rivaldo robbed David Beckham of a Ballon d'Or.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you that, and I was going to make a point as well. You talk about pressures, mental health, celebrity, all the stuff, and we're all hot on it. And we go, players, okay, yeah, they've got money, they've got fame and all that, but the mental health matters. They get a lot of stake and they have to deal with that. No one in the history, in my lifetime, has ever had more abuse and more stick by the media, by rival fans, by everyone. Not just comments about him, about his wife, about all sorts, about his family, threats to kill, extra security needed for him at games, than David Beckham had that season. And while all that's going on, he puts it all to one side.
And he's probably the best player in the world.
Yeah, that's fucking unreal.
Talk about mental strength.
I was born in 99, and so Beckham at United was sort of before my memory, but you can see just by watching extensive highlights of Beckham, he was such a special player. And even by 2010, 2011, kids still had Beckham on their shirts everywhere.
2013 he retired.
Something like that. Yeah.
He was still good.
He was good in the reunion game the other month. What are you on about? He was pinging in 70-yard balls.
He was by far the best player on the pitch. Is what
I don't care how old you are. If you're hitting a 70-yard perfect pass, that is mint. Doesn't matter who it's against.
My dad goes, that's the best right winger that's played at Old Trafford in the last 12 years. Beckham that season, right? Rivaldo robbed him of a Ballon d'Or, right? Go and watch when them two played head-to-head. And go and tell me that David Beckham did not deserve, on that game alone, I know it's only one game, but it's a minor game in the grand scheme of things. And unfortunately for Rivaldo, because his team got eliminated from the group stage, we never saw what Rivaldo would do in the quarters and the semis, but we saw what David Beckham would do, and he won everything.
I think this is part of maybe, I know it's slanderous, but Fergie's Achilles heel at times is he could be overly harsh on certain players. And I think you know, that was what happened with Beckham. I don't think like you say, Steve, you know, he got annoyed by the celebrity thing and the circus that went around Beckham. And I think he over-exaggerated how much of an effect that had. I don't think that affected Beckham on the pitch. I don't think that affected his dedication to his job at United. It didn't. And I think Fergie just had enough of it, and I don't think he should have done. And I think he was quite harsh as well towards Beckham in the final year. If you look at what went on, I don't mean the boot in the face. I think that was an accident, but the comments and just being a bit moody with him and isolating him and stuff like that. And Beckham was quite sensitive towards it because he revered Fergie and looked at him as a father figure.
He's
and I
never
think
flagged him or the club off since.
No, and I think, you know, there's still some people, a few minority that say, oh, he wanted to go to Madrid, he wanted to be that superstar and have that big signing and go to the Galacticos and all that other shit. But I think if Fergie had tried to convince him to stay and had said, like, listen, you know, I want you to stay, I love you, and, you know, you're a big part of this club, he would have stayed, but Fergie had enough. And I think that's a shame because people like Turk's there, okay, you know, you were very, very young, but if he'd have stayed at United his entire career, you would have seen him. Do you know what I mean? And that could have happened. And we could have had another 6 or 7 years of him at United, or whatever, or 5 years at least.
As Ryan Giggs adapted his game and Paul Scholes adapted his game to play further back and hit that quarterback role, I don't know if you'd have done it with the three of them in midfield, which would have been sensational if you could. But the three of them, David Beckham, as we saw, he didn't sign for shit clubs. Even when he came back on on the back end of what he went to the MLS in his prime, that was probably a mistake because he probably could have gone on and done more. But he probably should be credited with actually making the MLS stick in America, because I don't think it would have stuck without him the way it has done. It's obviously its own thing now. It's growing its own culture, and it's a fantastic competition. I'm not sure it gets to that level without Beckham having the bollocks to go and make it happen.
He got a lot of money for that as well. I know money's not everything, but he got like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like?
Oh,
it was in the hundreds of millions. It was like all in. What it was worth was like close to like a quarter of a bill or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
and I think he was always promised a franchise, hence why he's took a team on there now. I think that was always part of the thing. But he went. He did win the league in Spain. He went to Italy and he won the league in Italy, and he went to fucking Paris and he won it in Paris. Like, his career, if it wasn't for Bobby Charlton, his career might be the most Hollywood fucking career that there's ever been. And it wasn't Hollywood like a Steven Gerrard fucking pass. It was Hollywood for the fact that it was littered with league titles everywhere. Did he win one in America as well?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. I'm not sure.
I don't think he did.
Did he not?
Did he not?
I mean, to be fair, I think other than us mentioning it now, I think probably no one has really ever even considered that as a point in his career.
Yeah.
But
at the end of the day, he had a fucking phenomenal career.
You know, one thing as well, just quickly on that, you talk about a Hollywood thing. To go back to the World Cup 4 years later, after that thing against Argentina, and score the winner against Argentina,
mate,
it's pretty poetic.
Did you see how hard that penalty was hit?
Yeah.
There was 4 years of every fucking cockney that got in his face into that. He twatted that. Right, if you're new to this, you're going, what are you dickheads on about? Right, go watch World Cup 2002, England versus Argentina. Go watch David Beckham's penalty, right? I think the ball hits the back of the net before the keeper blinks.
Do you know what I love about that as well?
Fucking mullered it.
I'm sure isn't there a point where Michael Owen goes to get the ball or something when we win the penalty, and Beckham just sort of don't be silly.
This is peak fancy Beckham as well. He's got white boots on. He's got ridiculous fucking hair, and do you know what? He's fucking mint. He is mint as fuck.
When he scored that, I mean, unlike most United fans, I do support England, not to the same level as the United, but I want him to win. But that day when he scored that penalty and we beat Argentina, the scenes in Manchester in the city centre, it was like United had won the Champions League, whatever. It was, everyone was just going berserk because it was just, regardless of if you look like England or not, for Beckham, that sort of redemption that he'd had, all the shit he'd took, like you said, to see him sort of get that result against an Argentina team, which at the time were fancied as favourites. Was fucking unreal. Do you know what I mean?
I'll watch that penalty because that's how you take a penalty. I don't think there's ever been a penalty hit as hard. He fucking twats it.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me, if you remember when we played Arsenal, the year after when Ruud missed that penalty and they'd gone 49 unbeaten, and they needed to beat us 50, and we got a penalty, and it was like that one when Rude steps up, and you just remember thinking, there's no fucking way on God's earth he's going to miss his penalty. I'm telling you now. You've got a season's worth of just anger and frustration that these twats have gone all unbeaten and all the rest of it and all the shit they're giving him. And it's like, yeah, you know, when he scored that penalty, it reminded me of Beckham as well, because it was like all the emotions came out and you could see it. It was just mint.
Oh, fucking top.
Oh,
And we're going to have that back soon. We are going to have football back soon. And football that we actually give a fuck about as well, which is even better. Get in. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there, but cheers for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you go and check out Jay's new podcast with our kids, Scotty and Motty. Check out some of Turk's writing over there on Sports Illustrated for Paddock. If you go to Stretford Paddock or Stretford-Paddock.com, you'll find it on there, or just follow us on socials and you'll see it. But cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. This month's membership. So that was where that come actually, because these mugs, and there's also a coaster, a keyring, t-shirt, proper little merch box that you get for the Legends tier. So I think you should have all started getting them last week. Mine arrived today. There's another one coming that's getting posted out this week because it just took a while to manufacture everything. But if you join as a member this month, you will be into the mixer with the black shirt, the gold one, which is it's right there, but I'm not showing it you. So if you would like yourself one of the black and gold away kits, everybody in the Legends tier on the YouTube memberships, there's 3 tiers if you want to go and check it out, but everyone in the Legends tier is just getting it sent to them. So there you go. That's your thank you for supporting the channel. But cheers to everyone for tuning in. Cheers to Jay. Cheers to Turk. Cheers to you lot for tuning in. And remember, if you ever see any David Beckham slander, tell me get in the fucking bin, because the guy was outrageous.
Tell Steve about it. He'll sort it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't argue on Twitter, but I definitely will correct people where they're wrong.
Me neither.
Right, see you in a bit.